Hey traders, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Today's topic we're going to talk about is another popular fear, one of the 5 major fears, the fear of being wrong. So we're going to see how that plays into trading and why is it really such a big issue and how we can use that issue to our advantage with trading. And let's just jump right into it. Okay, so one of the first things you got to understand with the fear of being wrong is that nobody likes being wrong, whether that's in trading or just in life. A good example of this would be if there's like a 5-year-old kid and they're being indoctrinated, or let's say like their parents are showing them a new religion, like they're growing up in Christianity or something. By the time that person reaches the age of like 95, so 90 years later, as long as they keep believing that religion and that system, that belief system, the person's that's gonna be a strong foundation for that person. A lot of other things that they do is gonna be based on that. So it's gonna be hard to try to tell that person while they're 95 years old that might have been a lie, or that's all wrong, or that's been disproven now. That won't work. You won't convince the person of that unless they're really super duper open-minded, and you probably just know the idea of you can't teach new dogs old tricks. So that's one type of thing as well, because your habits will develop and become more ingrained in who you are. So the same thing goes for trading. You need good trading habits to make sure you can continue and always be low risk, or always take a risk that you're comfortable with while taking your trades, and everything just like that. So it's really important to understand that while you're taking your trades, you're really dealing with odds and percentages and things just like that. So it's never wrong to assume, it's never the right idea to take a trade negatively, like with your emotions, like feeling bad about it, taking a loss or anything like that, because you may be taking one loss. Let's say you're risking 1 to gain 3 in your trades. You know that you can take 3 losses and 1 win will equal those 3 losses. So there, you can take 3 losses, and like I just said, 1 loss covers the previous. So if you take 10 trades and you win 5 and you lose 5, you still get some sort of an advantage. I think you might even win 50% on your original number you started with, just by risking 1 to gain 3 and making 50% of all the trades that you take. So that's one thing to keep in mind while you know your trading system, or you've tested it out, you've seen what your return rate should be, your ROI. Then you can see, okay, is it okay if I'm taking 3 losses in a row on a certain pair, or is it okay if I'm taking 10 losses on a certain pair? Like, can you handle these losses without blowing your account? And so you can trust in your plan to a degree where you don't have to worry, okay, man, is this loss going to be the last loss and it wipes out my account? So this is just something really, really important. If you don't have that trust in your plan to be like, okay, you know what, this loss means nothing, this loss means nothing, and also the wins, this win means nothing, this win means nothing, it's just averaging out its system, it's just the system doing its thing. That's all that you're supposed to be doing as a trader. You don't really need to be counting the money that it brings in, and all that type of thing, because those type of things lead you away from trading. Rather, yes, you trade to get money. There's nothing like, yes, you trade to get money, but the whole idea behind it is to trade well. You need to perform well. Basketball players don't try to get money, they try to play basketball well so they can get money. It's something to look into. You get money by indirect causes. So that's one thing to remember. Okay, so odds and percentages. So let's say that you can win 5 and lose 5 and still make a profit on your money, even though you win 50%. Yeah, so that's one thing. And the second thing to remember is just, it's all averaging. So with the fear of being wrong, you don't know what trade is going to win, what trade is going to lose. And it hurts to have one losing trade, yeah, and then you go through a series of losses. Sure, that all hurts. So normally it will hurt so much where a person will be like, this doesn't work, I'm just going to change my plan. Or a lot of doubts will start clouding your head where you're like, I lost 1 trade, let me switch it up, or I lost 1 trade, this doesn't work, this is a scam, or this totally doesn't work, because you might be under the false impression that you're not supposed to lose any trades. And then there's just the doubt, or as the trade is getting towards your take profit, you might be getting scared. You don't want to take the full loss, so you might try to close it early, which you're not supposed to do. So you just create fears for yourself. So it's important to be calm, be level-headed about the situation, and understand that everything is averaging. So if you're going through a series of losses, as systems do, like systems as they progress, they go through, like, it depends what type of system you have as well. So as they go through like trending markets to ranging markets, they tend to go through a series of losses as well as they also go through a series of wins. So a lot of people might get knocked out of the market. They might lose all their money during those series of losses, which is something you must account for, right? You need to see how much losses happen, or what the situation is, so you can see how to handle the situation and how to still survive during those situations. Maybe you need to stop trading once you've identified that it's in that area where your system can't perform well. So really, you got to understand that. So all the wins that you take, maybe those will get balanced out with a few losses that happen next. But overall, if you have a winning system, then it doesn't matter how much you lose, and it doesn't matter how much you win, because you're still growing at a certain percentage rate. Does that make sense? So those are just really important things to be mindful of when you are like facing the issue of being scared with being wrong about a trade. Nobody wants to take a trade and be wrong on it, because a lot of people are also investing way too much on their trade, right? So if they take a loss, they probably wiped out like 50% of their account, or all of their account, right? People are going all in on one trade and that type of stuff. So I want to also mention that this fear mixed with the last one, which was, I believe, the fear of the unknown. So people not knowing what comes next. And so really all these fears that I'm going to mention, these two and the next one's coming, they're really all the same. They're all the same but different in ways. The first one being the fear of the unknown. It's, people don't like not knowing what comes. People dislike not knowing what comes next. So that really it creates a lot of fears for that person, and obstacles, whether that's being not taking the opportunity because you're not sure what's going to happen. People don't want to start trading because the money isn't guaranteed. People don't want to do things unless, while they're taking a job, they want to know what the pay is exactly then, rather than just taking the job and then just working with the situation and getting a better pay that way. So basically it creates fears for yourself. So there's that. And then this one here, it's kind of similar as well, where the fear of being wrong. You don't want to be wrong on situations, especially when you have such a big expectation for something. You don't want to be let down, because that it just hurts realistically, right? So you got to be level-headed about this. You got to take calculated risks and take low-risk positions, so that you can withstand the losses and those things don't hurt you that much. And the last thing to cover on this is that you got to understand that taking a losing trade doesn't mean you don't have a profitable system. Basic math. Where's my writing tool? Let me just pull this out real quick. So like, let's say you do, just because you lose one trade doesn't mean you don't have a profitable system. So let's say you're taking 10 trades, and let's put up that we have 6 wins. Okay, well, let's put up that you have 6 wins. So 6 W's and we have 4 L's, right? So let's say we have a situation like this, and we go through and what can we say? Let's say for each win we made 50 pips. Yeah, for each win we made 50 pips. And for each loss we lost 25 pips. Okay, so this is pretty simple. This one's not too complicated. Let me just go through and do this. So let's do plus 50 times 6. Do I know how to do that math? I think it's like 600 divided by 2, 300. So 50 times 6 equals 300, and the losses, which is negative 25, negative 25 times 4, which is how much we took 4 losses, times 4 equals 100. So there you go. If you just take 10 trades, you win 6 of them and you lose 4 of them. And every time you lose 25, and every time you win 50. This is a risk reward of 1 to 2, because you're risking the value of 1, and then your reward is double that, right? 25 to 50. So at the end of this, we lose 100 and we made 300. So at the end of the 10 trades, you made 200 pips. So that's just like a quick demonstration of, even though you take 4 losses, because a lot of times people go through and take 1 loss or 2 losses, or even myself, I'll go through and take when I take my trades, normally what happens is the first group of trades will always hit their stop loss. Yeah, that's a thing. And then you have a second group of trades after all of them have progressed to a certain degree. Some of them will have been consolidating or something, maybe by the entry area or after. Normally those things will get knocked out next. And then really my best positions are the winners that are left, the long winners that are left, the ones that are really trending hard. And those ones have definitely outmatched the previous losers that I've taken, right? But it's even while taking those first losses, you might feel like this is totally going against you. You don't want to take any losses. This is your hard-earned money that you worked for, and the market just takes it away so easily. Those type of things hurt your feelings, and maybe it might seem like I'm making it seem so simple, or just childish, because we're talking about emotions and things like this. But as you trade, and you'll see that these things, a lot of people have gambling addiction, so that's why they're in the market. The market can really hold a person to the degree where they just get so excited about seeing the money move that they will always deposit and just go back into the market, and really not really working on a strategy and things just like that. So it's important you don't got to focus on the money, just focus on performing well as a trader, and you'll get far just developing yourself in that way. And that's really all that I want to mention for the fear of being wrong. The fear of being wrong. And let's just add to think odds and percentages. And the other thing is just to also remember that, these fairs, all these fairs that are mentioning, that they're going to be sort of similar in one another, but they do cover different aspects in certain degrees. You don't fear missing out, because you got to understand that other trades are going to come. The market's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. So it's the biggest market in the world. So you got to just be level-headed about the situation. Take calculated risks while you're taking your trades, and it will work out for you. So it's just really important to mention all these fears, because this is the psychological aspect towards trading. It's really the biggest part that keeps a lot of traders from being profitable. Trusting in their plan, and trusting in themselves, because people aren't really trained to do that while they grow up in society and in regular school life. Normally people will just trust in what their boss says or something in a situation like that. Most people are rather lazy, actually. So to trust in your plan is actually a hard thing to just commit yourself to, especially when you're new to trading. So sometimes it takes time to adjust and get familiar with your plan, right? So this is something to just be aware of. So make sure you stay tuned for the next videos that I put out on the other 3 psychological fears, the major fears. And these fears are not just in trading. So they're also I find them to also be fears people will have in real life. So these things will transfer themselves. So you gotta clear these type of stuff off. You gotta be more open-minded, because you gotta be open-minded to opportunities. If you stay too focused on the old trend has to continue, you're not willing to adapt with the new situation of the market, then you'll get left behind and you'll take unnecessary losses. So you gotta clear up the fear, these mental blockage fears that people have and develop, and if they go unchecked, then they get worse, and you're more and more likely not to be a profitable trader. So that's all I really got to say for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll check you guys in the next video. See you guys later.